Inviting me to share some of my things with student politics, past, present and future. And with Natasha and Lairi, these people, they have been very active. And we are really proud that we have been a part of that generation when students who had their career to decide, but they chose certain principles over their career, and we are part of that generation of people. It really gives us a great satisfaction. On the top of it, JNU, the day I came to JNU during emergency and into the second emergency, but the previous one was declared emergency, this one is embedded emergency. I mean, here the emergency has taken a different shape. Censorship is more, intense today than ever before. Now the question about student movement, past, present and future. In India, the students का कोई definition है नहीं. I met once Gurtaran Singh Tora, who was the SGPC chairperson. और हरजन सिंह लौंगवाल, उनको हम JNU लाए देखा से 83-84 में. वो भी स्टूडेंट थे कि साहब सिख कभी वो तो गुरु के होते हैं, तो सिख में बूढ़ा भी स्टूडेंट होता है. ऑल इंडिया सिख स्टूडेंट फेडरेशन में चाहे कुछ भी हो, गुरु के सारे चेले होते हैं. दुनिया का हम तो शिष्य हैं, एंड दे सेड वी आर लाइक द JNU स्टूडेंट आल्सो. उसके बाद क्या है कि अगर लर्निंग इज ए लाइफ लॉन्ग प्रोसेस, तो स्टूडेंट, हर एक आदमी स्टूडेंट होना चाहिए और रहना चाहिए. बट बिकॉज द वे सोसाइटी मूव्स ऑन द बेस ऑफ सेगमेंट्स, तो हमने एक स्लॉट बना दिया है. और वो स्लॉट जो है वो उपनिषद में लिखा हुआ है, प्रथमम नार्जितम विद्या, द्वितीयम नार्जितम धनम, तृतीयम नार्जितम पुण्यम, चतुर्थम किम करिष्यति. अगर फर्स्ट स्टेज में आपने विद्या नहीं ली है तो स्टूडेंट का काम है विद्या लेना. ये नहीं है कि क्या विद्या लेनी, जो विद्या हम ले दें वो लेने लायक है नहीं है, ये स्टूडेंट का चॉइस नहीं है. इनफैक्ट पॉल ए फ्रायर कहता था कि वी आर लिविंग ए बैंकिंग सिस्टम ऑफ एजुकेशन, कि टीचर नोज एवरीथिंग, बुक्स हैव एवरीथिंग, and you are a blank check. Teacher deposits that knowledge on you, and you are supposed to be a bank draft. You have to cash in the market. So banking student cannot question. तो मैं अपने स्टूडेंट से ये कहता हूँ कि बहुत सारे JNU used to be primarily a research institute. तो who is a researcher? A researcher की definition क्या है? मैंने कहा कि जो आदमी इन 5 चीजों में विश्वास करता है, कस्मिचित कत्तिवाद आया, जो ये मानता है कि सृष्टि को चलाने वाला कोई है, इसका कंट्रोल कहीं और है. वेद प्रमाणम, जो कहता है वेद पुराण में प्रमाण है, दे आर अकाट्य, यू कैन नॉट कंटेस्ट. बाइबल, कुरान, गीता को आप कंटेस्ट नहीं कर सकते अगर यू बिलीव दैट कि फाइनल ट्रूथ हैज बीन स्पोकन. जातिवाद अवलेपम, कि भाई मैं तो सुपीरियर हूं, मेरी जाति बड़ी है, मेरी रेस बड़ी है. संतापारंभ पापहानाय, प्रायश्चित करने से पाप दूर हो जाते हैं. और स्नाने धर्मेक्षा, स्नान करने से धर्म की रक्षा होती है. इन 5 लोगों को रिसर्च नहीं करनी चाहिए. रिसर्च उसी को करनी चाहिए जो इन 5 चीज के अगेंस्ट जाता हो. क्या आप ये मानने को तैयार है भाई अगर मैं ये नहीं करूं? क्योंकि अगर आप प्रेजुडिस्ड हैं तो आप रिसर्च कैसे करेंगे? तो पॉल फ्रायर कहता था कि ये सिस्टम हमारे ऊपर डिपॉजिट करता रहता है. एजुकेशन गिव्स अस प्रेजुडिस रादर देन नॉलेज. नॉलेज का मतलब जानना नहीं होता है. हम जान सकते ही नहीं कि जो ज्ञान है वो तो ऑलरेडी किताबों में लिखा हुआ है। नॉलेज का मतलब समझना भी नहीं होता है। जो हम समझ रहे हैं बेसिक है। सबसे बड़ी ना समझिए कि हम समझ ही नहीं रहे, हम ना समझिए को समझते हैं। नॉलेज मीन्स कटिंग, टेकिंग पोजीशन, ऐसा नहीं ऐसा। और इसीलिए जेएनयू का एक मूवमेंट चला। जेएनयू में हम स्टूडेंट को बताते थे एंड वी यूज्ड टू फील प्राउड कि मेरा स्टूडेंट मुझे काट रहा है, ही हैज अ पर्सपेक्टिव। और जेएनयू के टीचरों का जो पर्सपेक्टिव बना, जस्ट बिकॉज वी वर गेटिंग स्टूडेंट फ्रॉम ऑल सेक्शन ऑफ सोसाइटी, ये इंक्लूसिव इन द रियल सेंस था। इनफैक्ट हम ये चाहते थे कि एक जमाने 83 से पहले एक यहाँ पर एक रिजर्वेशन होता था कि जिस भी बच्चे ने सो कॉल्ड पब्लिक स्कूल से स्कूलिंग की उसको 4 नंबर नहीं मिलते थे। तो 4 पॉइंट्स वर गिवन टू द स्टॉप। उनका बैकग्राउंड देखते थे कि व्हाट आर दैट स्कूलिंग। भाई सेंट स्टीफन का बच्चा और लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल पब्लिक स्कूल बच्चा तो कर ही लेगा, but the student who has studied in a government school, in a municipality school, they used to get 4 marks. वो 83 में वो बंद हो गया। जो basically the people those who have been denied any kind of or good teacher नहीं थे, अच्छी लाइब्रेरी नहीं थी, सड़कें नहीं थी, स्कूल नहीं था। इनफैक्ट वन ऑफ माई कलीग यूज्ड से, मैं भी एक मिशनरी स्कूल से आया हूँ, मेरी स्कूल का नाम था सेंट बोरियो। हम अपनी बोरी लेके जाते थे और उसमें बैठ के पढ़ते थे। कोई सेंट स्टीफन का है, सेंट कलम्बस का, सेंट बोरियो से आते हैं। और इन 1980 में एक स्टडी की गई थी जेएनयू में, जैकेट सेंटर में। यह पाया गया था कि जो स्टूडेंट नॉन प्राइवेट बैकग्राउंड से दे हैव परफॉर्म मच बेटर देन दोज हु केम फ्रॉम। अगर कोई सेंट स्टीफन और लेडी स्टूडेंट से आया है एंड एट द एंट्री टाइम दे हैव गॉट B+, दे एंडेड विद A- और ए तो क्या कर दिया। बट स्टूडेंट हु केम फ्रॉम तवांग and at the time of entrance they have B- or C+, and if they ended with A- B+, see what the kind of jump they have made. तो इस तरीके से ये थिंग था। तो पहली बात तो ये है, स्टूडेंट मूवमेंट have never taken a position to we have to decide what we want to learn. Our parents decide, our teachers decide, or academic council. और JNU again was the first university जहाँ पर academic council में स्कूल बोर्ड में स्टूडेंट को बुलाया जाता है देयर ओपिनियन, एक्सेप्ट पार्ट बी जिसमें मार्क्स एंड ग्रेड फाइनलाइज होती है। स्टूडेंट हैव ऑल द सेम। और मैं आपको एक चीज और बताना चाहता हूँ, नाउ इट इज नॉट दिस थिंग, आई एम जस्ट लोकलाइजिंग ऑन जेएनयू, बिकॉज जेएनयू में ऑल द ग्रेड्स दैट यू गेट, ऑल द ग्रेड्स आर प्रोविजनल। The grades become final when they are approved by SFC, Student Faculty Committee. और वहां पर जो है, और दूसरा ये था जेएनयू में एवरी स्टूडेंट हैज द राइट टू क्वेश्चन देयर ग्रेड। और एसएफसी जब देन इट यूज्ड टू गो टू स्कूल बोर्ड, स्कूल बोर्ड के बाद तो इट वाज बेसिकली रूटीन मैटर। बट एसएफसी में इफ द टीचर हैज नॉट बीन ट्रांसपेरेंट, some inconsistencies are there, SFC used to, sorry, we are not happy with this thing, and the teacher had to rethink about the grade. So ये जो है this kind of the part and parcel of the student movement. Second thing is that also I went to China once, I have told you many times. In China ने कहा कि India is trying to negotiate between two irreconcilable contradictions, democracy and socialism. Democracy and socialism cannot go together. This is China's think tank actually. The vice president of China was saying India is trying to reconcile these irreconcilable contradictions, democracy, and unfortunately they quote Aristotle. Aristotle का जो और सोक्रेटिस का जो एंटी डेमोक्रेटिक स्टांस है कि डेमोक्रेसी में जो मांगता है उसको वो दे देता है। Women want to become male, they say, oh, you become male. Students want to become the teacher, they give them that thing. Poor want money, they give them money. Rich want them power, they give them. As a result of that, ultimately, the logical culmination of democracy is in dictatorship, which Plato has ultimately theorized it. China ने कहा बिल्कुल सही है, Confucius भी यही कहता। Then I gave them example of उन्होंने कहा this how this पंचायत राज system is going to work at the village level. I don't listen, I will give an example of JNU. JNU के student in के elections, administration, state has no role to play. Student used to have a general body meeting, and the member of the election commission was approved in general body. If any student says that this person has an affiliation with this association, he used to be out, she used to be out. And that's how it was, it remained. As far as that, once in 1992 or 93, one candidate lost election and he went to High Court. High Court put in stay. General body of the JNU said, sorry, we don't go with the High Court, and they released the verdict or the result. This was JNU. This is also the kind of the movement where today it is all past. Then what actually happened that because of we have student movement have really not taken, 2 or 3 student movement have been glaring in the world. One was the Indonesian student movement, second was the Iranian student movement, third was the student movement in South Korea, and to a certain extent, the ASU movement of Assam was also the longest, for 7 years. It did do something, but ultimately, because students by themselves are not a material force in themselves. They say class for themselves, class in themselves, because they are basically mass organization. And it again in student movement, I will not name some of the student leader of JNU who became left and ultra left had their background in ultra rightist organization in India. When they came to JNU, they became an ultimate, to what extent when the student movement takes place, it's a mass organization. And some of the students who have been part of the radical or left movement, they have again gone to different places. So student is basically a transition area, but unfortunately student movement, was it Korean or Indonesian or Iranian, they have really not decided what student should learn. Our parents, our seniors, our teachers, our professors, in fact, there is a mark of gerontocracy on the syllabus. The past generation really decides, student movement will have to decide, because now, if any teacher thinks that the students are going to learn from them, they know everything, they are living in false paradise. I accept that my students should know more than me. If they don't know, that I have failed as a teacher. Because today, the source of knowledge and information are so many, and you are better exposed than I am. So students must have the right to decide. A movement must be launched in future that students should decide what they want to learn, how they want to learn, where they want to learn. This is the moral part. Second thing is that student movement cannot be local or parochial. It has to be internationalist. Because today, knowledge is not coming from fixed sources. In fact, today the nation states or the chauvinists are trying to divide knowledge, history into segments. Students have to be internationalists if they really want to serve the society in a better way. Because knowledge today is so much in a flexible commodity, so much, and within weeks you become outdated. Generation change. So it has to be basically internationalist in perspective. If the Marx said that somebody wrote Marx of the workers of the world unite. But today, education has to be global. Global not only in terms of the human interest, but it has to take the interest of everyone. Whether they are plants or animals, or somebody was telling that even the rocks and soils, our heritage, all these things, so the education student will have to do that. The third important aspect that I want to tell about student movement is that, in 1935-36, Antonio Gramsci really first theorized what are the intellectuals. He categorized intellectuals in two. He said intellectuals do not have a class, but intellectual instinctiveness and position, they are two different things. Instinctively, all of us want equality. But everybody is a patriarch, a male at home. I mean, they want, or let's say, for example, everybody wants equality, but not at my cost. I must have this thing. I mean, they say, okay, fine. Sustainable development should be there, dams should not be constructed, nuclear energy should not be there, but uninterrupted electricity supply must be there in my house or in my campus. So the trade-off is a very, very important aspect. So what Gramsci said, that there are certain called the organic intellectuals, those who are part and parcel of the advancing social forces, those who are with the forces which are taking society forward. And then there is the traditional intellectuals, those who want to maintain the status quo, the caste as status quo, class as quo, gender as status quo. And he said that ultimately the social movement will compel the intellectual to take positions. Instinctively anybody can be anywhere, but ultimately in the struggle they will really come up, and therefore student movement can only shape when they align themselves with the social movement. For 13 months when the farmers movement was there, we have seen many student movement were part of it. And they were playing a very constructive role, but ultimately student must see, and that is where again I come back to JNU. When JNU Student Union was aligning itself with the price of the bus hike in Delhi, fee hike in Delhi, milk hike in Delhi, law and order in Delhi, with the part and parcel of the common struggle of the people of Delhi, we had lot of support from the people. When we started withdrawing ourselves, in fact, at a stage when JNU is closed, nobody is going to say care. The simple reason that we did not become part and parcel of the social forces. So we must try to align ourselves as far as possible with the social movement. We cannot have an independent movement. It cannot withstand. How the farmers were able to really bring the Modi government on their knees, because they could sustain it. Students cannot sustain themselves. They can only sustain when they are part and parcel of the overall social movement. Whether it is the social movement of the inclusiveness of the marginalized section of society, the Dalits or tribals, or the minority communities, or gender issues, or displaced people. We must try to, we cannot stand alone. Rather than the more strong give and take you have, you will benefit. Otherwise your studies will become really, for understanding, जैसे तुलसीदास की रामायण के शांता सुखाय हो जाएगा, for our own pleasure. No, you have to make how socially relevant you are. And ultimately, the final point that I want to take is that we have lot of debts. We have certain historical debts to pay off, certain cultural, but also we have to pay the debt of the society. Society had made lot of investment on us, whether they are our parents, they are anybody, and we have to pay it back. Pay it back in the sense, preserve what is good, and also take it forward. The people, those who want to give मनुष्य स्पिरिचुअल फाइनल है, उसको प्रिजर्व करना चाहिए. जब गीता, कुरान, बाइबल में सब लो, please take it forward. They were the code of conduct appropriate at that point of time. Is a student who will bring new impetus, new strength. We have to integrate whatever is the past, make it relevant to present, and open for the future. Thank you.